Sports is the original reality show, and we had plenty of examples of that over the weekend on the gridiron and on the diamond. We will relive the high drama of Game 1 and almost Game 2 of the World Series, plus talk Rangers first baseman as Rangers Live podcast begins right now. The minute Freddie Freeman hit that grand slam to win Game 1 of the World Series, my feed, my timeline started going crazy, reminding me of just about a year ago when the Rangers had a similarly dramatic Game 1 of the World Series. Hi there, and welcome into the DLLS Sports Studios. Welcome to our DLLS Rangers Podcast. John Radigan here. It's Rads with Abs, Abby Jones, and J-Dub, Jeff Wilson. Prophet over here, loving baseball more and more every single day.
We have changed him.
Love the fact that we have a convert to a baseball lover. The Prophet's always been a sports lover. Now he gets baseball even more after that. If you watched Game 1, if you were sort of lukewarm on baseball, Jeff, and you just be like, yeah, it's baseball, it's kind of boring. Watch Game 1 of this year or last year or really the year before that. But what a game.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable that 3 straight World Series Game 1s have been walk-offs.
Yeah.
You know, that tells you that, yes, these teams are very talented and pretty equally matched. But, yeah, just the drama it's just through the roof. And, you know, these situations and, you know, the Dodgers obviously needed Freddie Freeman. They didn't need a grand slam. You know, they got it. The Rangers absolutely needed Corey Seager the year before that.
Right.
And I don't know if we want to talk about the Astros, but it's just this is baseball at its best. We talked about it all last week. You have the best players in the game in each of these teams' lineups. But I say this all the time: you never know what you're going to get when you go to the ballpark.
Right.
You never know what you're going to see. It applies to any age, any level of baseball games, like a snowflake. No one baseball game is the same, and for them to end like this with huge TV ratings, huge TV crowd,
like 15 million,
huge, just great stuff.
You say that no one game's the same, but actually, this game was oddly similar to another iconic game. I wasn't alive, but I definitely have seen the video of the Kirk Gibson home run. Eerily similar comparisons between the two. And also, I mean, I know we're going to get into both, but just reminds you of why you love the game of sports, because the moment with Freddie and his dad, I mean, gosh, that brings tears to your eyes. I mean, Freddie's also one of the nicest people. What he and his family have been through this season, and then just this moment with his dad. I mean, he said it best. He said, I felt like I was in my backyard again, just playing baseball. And that is what made this game so cool.
It was so awesome, and we do want you to do what it says right there on the screen. Subscribe, like us, hang out with us, chat with us. What a start to the World Series it was, and we will get to the drama and some of the repercussions of Game 2 coming up as well, and we're also going to talk Rangers first base, the position that Jeff wrote about today, if you saw it on our DLLS website. But your reference to the Gibby thing, and of course, you know, I covered Kirk Gibson when I was first in the business and got to know Gibby fairly well back in those days. And then
love Gibby.
He's the greatest. And so he was out hunting and fishing with his buddies up in northern Michigan when all this was taking place. So he had a full day out in the woods and everything on Friday. And he came back to the cabin, which I'm sure is lovely. But it's rural, right? It's rural. And so he came back and he was literally watching it on his phone. And he said to his guys, oh, man, 2 outs in the 10th, or I'm going to pack it in. And then he had a premonition. I better wait. And then he saw what happened, and he, like the rest of us, was reminded. And I mean, Joe Davis did a great call. When he said, when he said basically, Freddie, meet Gibby,
Right.
That was fantastic. It brought tears and chills to Gibby's eyes, and it's amazing how something like that becomes so iconic, right? And remembered even for people who weren't even close to being born yet, like yourself. Well, that was 88.
Well, I mean, I know Gibby because of Detroit, and I've worked with Gibby.
Right.
So, but no, I mean, that's a huge baseball moment. I mean, even down to the time it was hit.
Yeah.
Like, it was within a few,
no, I
the
think it was
temperature.
time.
I think they were both
Exact time.
8:36 and Pacific time.
Silly stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
crazy.
that actually really doesn't happen. But no, it was a Hollywood ending to, I think, one of the better World Series games that I've seen.
Well, it's an iconic moment, but they really need to, to make it an iconic moment and help if they win the series.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it becomes kind of a footnote. But, because of the Rangers, Corey Seager hits the homer and Dulce Garcia hits the homer and the Rangers lose the next 4. It's like, meh.
Yeah.
That's right. No.
I was joking with Rads earlier when I was watching the game over the weekend, and I said, literally when Freddie's up to bat, I said, well, if he hits a home run, he doesn't have to run around the bases.
Yeah.
And then grand slam, and I'm like, oh my Lord.
And Gibby weighed
Freddie
in.
Freeman is him.
Gibby weighed in on that too when they caught up with him. He said, when you hit something like that, suddenly your ankle doesn't hurt anymore. You don't even notice it. You don't feel it,
Yeah.
And the difference between the two, that was it for Gibby in that series.
Right.
I mean, he was so injured. His knee was so injured. He didn't come back and play any of the rest of the games of that series. He did win the MVP of the National League that year, but he didn't play any of the other games in that World Series. And obviously, Freddie Freeman not only did, but hit a home run in the next game too, which we'll talk about.
And what made Gibson so good was, Jose Canseco hit a grand slam like in the first inning, and that made it 4-0, and the Dodgers kind of chipped away. But then, the A's have Dennis Eckersley,
right?
One of a Hall of Famer, a guy who redefined his career as a closer and was just untouchable. And for them to bring in Kirk Gibson, and they used Dave Anderson, the former Rangers third base coach, as like a decoy, because he was a right-handed hitter, and used him as a decoy. And then whatever happened, and they pulled Anderson into the dugout and sent out Gibson. And so anyway, a lot of I remember that one very distinctly. Yeah, that was just it is literally one of those times where you kind of remember where you were if you're old enough to do that.
Dave Roberts said it's one of the greatest baseball moments he's ever witnessed.
The Gibby one or this one?
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
he's
been around a few games.
Yeah, he's witnessed plenty.
So it's like, when I think, obviously, when Boch gives a compliment, it just means so much more.
Yeah.
Because what they've seen, the experience that they have. So to get this kind of credit, super awesome.
Yeah, and of course, on the opposite side, Aaron Boone received immediate criticism for, obviously, I mean, any decision a manager makes during a game like that will be scrutinized and second guessed, for lack of a better word, almost the minute that the team loses. But certainly, I said at the time when he pulled Garrett Cole out, I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was a little surprised that I thought that was an early hook on Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he was in the 80s, I think.
88, I think it was. Yeah,
that's fine. He can handle that.
Yeah.
If you have a guy, if you have a horse, you got to ride him.
I agree.
I mean, this is the time of year, and like we talked about, he missed the first 4 months of the season, so he doesn't have the mileage on him that some of these other guys do. And to answer Ardell's question, has there been another Grand Slam walk-off in World Series history? No, that was the first. But anyway, to your point, yes. And then the decision, I guess, in the 10th to use Hector,
right,
or not Hector,
Nestor,
whatever, Nestor Cortez, and over Tim Hill. It's interesting because the last time Freddie Freeman faced Tim Hill, he had a home run.
Yeah,
and so I wonder if that got into the thinking. But Cortez hadn't pitched in a month. He's elbow. He's going to have Tommy John probably. So, he just grooved a fastball, and anybody's going to hit that pitch.
Right.
Yeah. And, all credit to Cortez, who stood at his locker for 15 minutes. He wasn't a guy that they brought to the podium, obviously, in that case. But there he stood, and he answered all questions. He did it great. And, basically said, where'd you want that pitch? Well, I wanted it 2 or 3 inches higher.
Yeah.
Well, 2 or 3 inches higher, it's not so hittable. But it was middle.
Been a strikeout, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And that's like being a great teammate. Starting pitchers have to do that.
Yep.
Starting pitchers know the drill. They're at their locker. If they don't know the drill,
Some of them,
they learn it.
Somebody will teach them. Yeah.
They learn it.
Yeah.
Andrew Heaney, if Jacob deGrom can do it, if Jacob deGrom waits, doesn't go shower, doesn't change, waits until the media comes in. If he can do it, the guy who's won 2 Cy Youngs, then Kumar Rocker can do it. Andrew Heaney was probably the best, though, this year.
He was.
He was sitting at his locker waiting for us every game. And, of course, Evaldi would go to the interview room for home games, win or lose. And but anyway, to your point, it's about accountability and being a good teammate. It's standing there putting the blame on your shoulders. Because, they had some errors in that game. The ball that got away and allowed Ohtani to go to third. That was a huge play. But Nestor said, "Hey, I'm the one who messed it up." Just standing there and taking all the questions. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
To Ardell's question about the World Series, I know Jeff just answered it, but do you guys know who hit the only other game-ending grand slam in postseason history?
I'm going to say Nelly in Game 5.
Nelly in
Game
2011 with the Texas Rangers.
Beautiful.
It's a fun little Rangers tie.
Yeah. And my buddy caught that ball.
That's right.
Did he?
That's right. You
Remember? I said that? Yeah. My buddy caught that ball. So anyway, it was so much fun this weekend, and it was very reminiscent of that Game 1 where, again, I think almost as dramatic as the home run that Adolis hit to win Game 1 last year was the 2-run bomb that Corey Seager hit.
Yeah.
And that's the one we referenced the other day, Jeff, where Corey Seager, and that was what we call our thumbnail, the picture on the beginning where you saw Freddie Freeman's reaction, holding his hand up high, and you saw the reaction of Corey Seager, who doesn't react, right? And he was looking at the dugout immediately, and that got them so fired up.
Well, then you talk about the Joe Davis call. Joe Davis says he could tie it up with one swing. And boom, there it goes.
And then he goes, tie.
Well, and then that reminds me, you probably remember this growing up in Michigan, or not growing up, but growing up in Michigan, being from Michigan. Hell, you might have been at the game, the Colorado-Michigan game where Cordell Stewart threw the Hail Mary.
I wasn't there, but I remember it well.
And Colorado won on the, great play. Bob Greasy was doing the game with Keith Jackson, and Bob Greasy, the last thing you hear before the ball snapped is, if I was the defense, I'd have a few more guys over there. So these broadcasters sometimes they just have a feel.
They're prescient. Yeah.
But anyway, Corey's home run. I think as we get further away from it, people are going to have to remember that was just to tie the game.
Right.
Adolis is the one who won the game, and he didn't win it in the 10th. He won it in the 11th. You know? So, but the home run that won the series for the Rangers. If they lose that game,
who knows?
They're in trouble. And so Corey to do what he did against a guy who hadn't given up any runs in the postseason to that point, Paul Sewald, it's incredibly memorable, and I'll remember that one more than I will the Garcia homer.
Yeah. That was
he
fantastic.
just doesn't show emotion ever.
Right.
I literally call him a robot. Yeah. I mean, great guy, but you don't get much out of him.
No, and that's why
and by design, I'm sure.
One of the reasons he's so good.
Yeah.
He's trying to take a lot of the emotion and a lot of that type stuff out of his persona, out of the game, to make it more of a sort of this is just what I do, right? This is just an automatic reaction to when I see that pitch or whatever it might be. So anyway.
All right. Well, do you think that Game 1 was worth the price of admission?
What was the price again? $1,000?
Roughly.
Yeah.
I mean, for some people, it was.
At least they got a good show.
Got their money's worth.
You got your money's worth. I don't know if I'd spend it, but hey, That's a great game.
Yeah, and again, I think anybody who paid it would be satisfied, right?
Right.
I mean,
Unless
okay.
unless you're a Yankees fan.
Well, good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah, they weren't very happy. But anyway, and they were all over the social media platforms as well. Lots more coming up as we talk Game 2 as well. Not nearly as dramatic, but might have been. And there was a former Texas Ranger involved in what might have been high drama in that game. Plus, we got to talk Rangers first base. That's all coming up on the DLLS Rangers Podcast. But what do we got? Jeff, you want to tell us about your floors?
I would love to tell you about Empire today because the floors in this room are from Empire. They're so nice. I really love them. And like I've been saying, the Wilsons need floors. And when we finally go there, we're going to Empire today. You know why? And if you want to know why, it's because Empire today you get shop at home convenience. That's always big this day and age. Don't have to go out to the store or go to a big box store and be overwhelmed and talk to a guy who, was just selling the sprinkler head equipment to somebody instead of focusing on carpet or hardwoods, because that's all Empire does, man. They're experts at it. They keep it simple with a curated product selection. They have the virtual floor designer, so you can hold up your phone and just get an idea of what's going on. What it's going to look like. So here's what you need to do. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive $350 off when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.dls for details.
That is fantastic, and I would encourage you to do that while wearing your brand new Rowback polo. It's a beautiful design that is a shirt that's designed for comfort and it's designed for activity. These are fantastic products. They're the best looking. They're the best fitting performance polos in the game. The collars never lose their shape. That's a fantastic thing. And they have it all. They've got solids. They've got stripes. They've got patterns. They've got team colors. They've got hats, too. Jeff's been sporting a Rowback hat and looks fantastic. So we encourage you to be a part of this. You can just insert the show code DLLS Rangers if you would do that to Rowback and get 20% off your first order. That's RHOBACK and get 20% off. All right. Game 2, but first, we'll get to. But first, let's talk about what you wrote today, Jeff, with regard. First things first, as we say, right?
Who's on first?
Let's get to first base. Who's on first? And let's get to first base and do first things first, because it's a halfway through the season, we figured there would be a new first baseman for the Rangers next year.
We did, and it was just a struggle. Nathaniel Lowe was injured in spring training, oblique, I think it was, or lat. I thought those were the same things, but I guess they're not. But anyway, it cost him the first 21 games of the season, and so he comes back, hits okay, kind of like Corey Seager did when he came off the IL, was hitting pretty good, and then he just, it was an aberration, I guess, because you get out of sorts, and Nathaniel struggled, and the power didn't come. You're waiting for it, and you could say you're still waiting for it to come. He only finished with 16 home runs, but if he's healthy from the start, maybe it's a different story. But when you look at his final numbers, the 16 homers, 261 average. 2 years ago he batted 300 with 27 home runs. You're like, hey, that's pretty good. He won the Silver Slugger Award. But then you kind of look at the rest of the first basemen in the league. The home runs were sixth among qualifying first basemen. He finished ninth overall in the league in on base percentage. His OPS 762 that's above league average, and he finished at a 2.7 WAR for a guy making $7.5 million. So, if a 1 WAR is worth $5 million, then Nathaniel Lowe was a pretty good value. Yeah. So that's what the Rangers are trying to weigh now, because he's going to get a bump in salary through arbitration up to around $10 million. And you throw in the defense, Gold Glove winner, and he's a Gold Glove finalist this year. Mm-hmm. Can they do better than Nathaniel Lowe? Yes. Can they do better than Nathaniel Lowe at $10 million?
Right.
Not sure. Yeah.
Not at $10 million, and then the options are Pete Alonso. I'd probably take Pete Alonso over Nathaniel Lowe. Christian Walker, I don't know. He's a little older, but he did have a 6.8 WAR, which was better than Pete Alonso's this year. So, and then you look at who else? Well, Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
Former MVP, Gold Glove winning first baseman, but he's 37 now and he's coming off a bad year. Justin Turner is 40.
Yeah.
And Carlos Santana, another guy who's 39, and what are you going to get from him? A lot of walks. That's about it. So you just kind of look at the landscape and you're like, gosh, can they do better? And I don't think they can.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
At that price.
At the price for $10 million, and there can still be some value there. He talked at the end of the season how disappointed he was in his season. Nathaniel did, and apparently that's what he told the Rangers in his exit interview. So they seem encouraged that he's motivated to be better, and he needs to be better. Now, at this year with the TV and all that stuff, it doesn't look like they're going to be spending a ton of money.
Right.
They could save money by trading him away, let's say, but who's going to replace him?
Right.
Internally, it's like Justin Foskey. Okay, he wasn't very good. He has some things to do on his swing. Abby Ortiz, who finished well at Frisco, he's not close enough. And then you have Blaine Crim, who I love. He could leave via minor league free agency. So there are a lot of questions at who would replace Nathaniel. So it may just be, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, it could be better, but to do it could alter the rest of your offseason and commitments down the line. So I think he's going to be the first baseman, Nathaniel.
Yeah, and I think the thing to remember is the exit interview. I think that is really important because I was before that, in hearing CY talk about what him and Nathaniel talked about, which is exactly what Jeff said, how disappointed he was in his season. I don't know. I wasn't sold on Nathaniel Lowe until I heard how much CY believes in him. And I think Nathaniel Lowe, I listened to his podcast with Jared Sandler, and he's been the most disappointed in himself. And he was over the season a long time ago. I think just the hype and expectations and all those things. I mean, he was so done with the term last year's team. He's like, can we just move forward? So I think if there's anybody that wants to just move forward and, forget about last year and turn a new leaf, I think he's going to turn it up. I mean, he's, his goal is to win a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger within the same year. And it's incredibly difficult to do, but he's done it separately. I think he got, I don't know, I guess a light.
He's got that it,
drive,
right?
Yeah,
that drive. And the thing is, all you need to do is look at his progression as a player to realize that.
Yeah.
Because when he first got here, I sit at the time when I was, working for Bally, I was sitting with former major league players, two of whom were infielders, and all of them, I sat with four different guys, and all of them said, "Ooh, Nathaniel Lowe can't play first base, right?
Right.
He's not a major league first base." But they all said that. Then he wins a Gold Glove. Why? Because he worked.
Yeah.
He worked
very
really,
hard.
really hard on it. So he recognized it, right? He's great self-awareness. When he was asked about this past season, he said, I had a good month of September, but I had a bad season, right?
Yeah.
That's self-awareness. He will work on things. And I, to your point, Abs, think he is going to work on, improving from last season, all the different things he needs to do. It's interesting, too, because nobody thought he could hit any kind of velocity in his first couple years, but then in his 37 home run year, he was doing okay with velo.
It's weird on the velo. He's good the other way, but in that season he had a lot of opposite field hits. Well, teams adjust, and they've taken that away from him. So these little grounders aren't getting through the hole like they did. He still gets a lot of singles to left, but they're line drives and fall in there. So you do wonder if he's going to take the health side of it differently after the injury in the spring. Just knowing that he's a big guy. He's not a 5'8",
Yeah.
160-pound first baseman. He's a big dude, and his raw power, he can kill the ball. If you watch him take BP, he hits it as far as anybody. So it's just making it translate, and there are things to do. Of course, once he gets married, I mean that's a big step he's taken in November. Good for him. Congratulations on that. I'm sure he's doing some work now, getting the body ready for, I don't know, maybe he wants to look better in his wedding photos. I don't know. I hope he wears a turtleneck at his little mock action underneath
That's funny.
underneath the suit jacket. But get ready to go December 1st, let's say, have the honeymoon December 1st, get back to work, or at least starting your swings, working on the swing itself. He has his brother who's a very talented guy who had a little bit of a down year himself. Maybe they can work on something together. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that at this juncture, I just don't see the Rangers being able to or finding a better option outside of Nathaniel Lowe via free agency. And if you look at trades like Josh Naylor of the Guardians, he's going to be a free agent in 26. He had 31 homers this year or something like that. I don't know that he's not as good as Nathaniel Lowe defensively. Nate Lowe had a better WAR than Josh Naylor.
Yeah.
So do you want to make that trade? I don't know. I mean, I don't think you do unless you really think that a 30 home run hitter at first base is what you need. Then maybe you look into it. But in defense at first, it's nice to have, but it's not like a premium defensive spot. So you could probably live with a little less. But I just think, again, and what I wrote, just it's going to be hard for them to find the value that Lowe could potentially have, even at $10 million. Because if he's a 2-WAR player, okay, you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, and availability is the best ability. He is available. He is durable. I mean, he works. Marcus Semien is, the Iron Man and never misses a day, but he's pretty close if he's not injured, and he definitely takes that work serious as well, and just positive life things. His mom seems to be doing well also, which helps. He and his family had a really rough year last year. So, just getting married. His mom's in a better place and seems to be doing good at the moment. So, those external things maybe won't be on the field and his mind anymore. But I just don't think that Nathaniel is going to have the season that he had last year.
No,
I think that was like a one-off.
I don't think you can discount the uncertainty within his offseason.
Right.
Again, full-body human beings, right? He had a lot on his mind last offseason. Not only the success, short offseason anyway, but the success that the team had, but then the opposite end of that spectrum with his mom.
It almost makes like your success
it's so meaningless, right? It becomes meaningless. So anyway, to your point, I mean, I think she's well enough. She's absolutely planning on going to the wedding up in Banff, which is just outside of Vancouver. And it's a beautiful place any time of year. In the winter, it's great for all the winter sports. In the summer, it's absolutely gorgeous. So anyway, a beautiful place to, have your nuptials if you're Nathaniel Lowe. So good for him. And I think you're right, Abs. I think, there's just going to be a more settled off season for him that will promote work and promote improvement. And I think it'll be really good for the Rangers to, again, get a first baseman of that ilk for that price.
Well, and if they want to, keep their powder dry, as they say, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to be a free agent in 26.
Yes.
So if Toronto can't re-sign him, then hey, maybe the Rangers have their TV deal all sorted out. Maybe they're like, all right, hey, let's go get this guy. He's going to be 28, and he's
cool.
great.
Yes,
That'd be cool.
He's pretty good.
Also, I was going to say, CY talked a lot about internal growth. And I did feel like that was Nathaniel,
Sure.
There's things that he knows that he can do. And again, I think he's the kind of guy that he's so unsatisfied with last year. He's going to flush it, and he's going to come back a brand new married man.
Yes, a married man. He's going to be a family man. And look, he's a great guy, too. Everybody in that clubhouse loves him. You see him anytime anybody gets to first base, Nathaniel's chatting them up. I mean, he's a gregarious, outgoing, affable kind of guy who everybody likes, and he's a pleasant person, a joy, really, to have in that clubhouse. So it looks like that will be true again next year, and then we'll see beyond that. So that is the discussion about first base with the Rangers. We appreciate your interest and your concern about that. We'll keep going through this team position by position throughout the course of the offseason with so much more to talk about in the baseball hot stove league season, which is nigh upon us after the World Series ends. So anyway, we got more World Series to talk about, though. First, it's the Game 2 that we're going to get to next. We'll also get a preview going of Game 3, which is tonight. It's all coming up on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
Am I first again?
No, I got it.
Okay.
And I have a real-life experience, fellas.
Okay.
Last night, I had a night off, and I
Ooh.
went to a concert.
Oh, wow.
I'm wearing the merchandise of it now. But I use Game Time because I didn't want to pay a lot. And
Right.
here's the trick. You got to wait till after the concert starts.
Oh, really?
That's when nobody wants to see the opener.
Did you see prices coming down?
$100.
Wow.
I mean, split in half. So download the app, and I just kind of sat and waited. And I waited until it got to a price I was very comfortable with paying. And I got floor seats. And it was
Wow.
amazing. I had a great time. It made it so easy. And literally, it didn't even cost me a meal.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
fantastic.
So Game Time, download and use the code DLLS. You get $20 off of your first purchase. But Game Time is the real deal. What time is it?
Game time. I myself have a personal experience here, and it ties into the World Series. I'm talking about the Sleeper app here. So let's get this out of the way. Use the code DLLS Rangers to get a $100 deposit on a match on your first deposit, which I did and my wife did. So anyway, the other night, Friday, Game 1, they have what's called a protected pick up to $20. If you bet up to 20, or if you make a pick up to $20 and you lose, you get your money back. I was like, hey,
Ooh.
this is perfect.
Sure.
That's a
No
win-win.
big deal. So I went up to 20. I made my 5 picks. First 4 came in pretty quick. I needed Mookie Betts to score a run. That was the one that was keeping me from winning. And Freddie Freeman, thanks to Freddie Freeman and the Yankees' decision to intentionally walk Mookie Betts scored a run on the Grand Slam, and I won $192.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look
So
at you.
download the Sleeper app today and insert the code again, DLLS Rangers, for a $100 first deposit match.
It's fantastic. I didn't win $190 or go to a concert this weekend, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad. I need to avail myself to our sponsors a little bit
You win
more
some, you
often,
lose some, Rats.
just as you do. Do the same thing. Game 2, also very exciting, probably not quite as dramatic as Game 1 was, but I think the lead in Game 2 had to be Yamamoto. I mean, the
Sure.
Dodgers had to have gotten more out of him than they ever expected. What a performance.
Well, yeah, let's go back to Game 1 and his first start of the postseason. It didn't go real well, and the the Dodgers ended up winning the game, but he didn't pitch real well, and it kind of put some questions. And, he missed a good chunk of the season this year. It's his first year over from Japan. There's always an adjustment for those pitchers, no matter how good they are. I mean, even Roki Sasaki, wherever he ends up, Sasaki is going to have trouble just adjusting to the ball, adjusting to the travel, adjusting to the condensed pitching schedule, whatever it is. So Yamamoto became a question mark at that point, I thought. And but he's answered the bell in his ensuing 3 starts. And for the Dodgers to get 5 innings out of a starting pitcher, it's
And he
crazy.
started the 6th.
As crazy as it sounds, with Koufax, Drysdale, God, even Clayton Kershaw, Oral Hershiser, all these great pitchers, for them to be like, all right, 5 innings out of our starter, woohoo, we won. But yeah, that was a big deal. The only hit he allowed was the Juan Soto home run, which at the time was like, okay, hey, the Yankees are right back in it. But Carlos Rodon didn't pitch well. I didn't realize he'd given up 31 regular season home runs.
Yeah.
And then he'd given up 3 going into that start, and the Dodgers got him for 3 in that one alone. So what looked like an advantage for the Yankees in the starting rotation with Cole, who pitched so well in game 1, and then, all right, well, Rodon, with that first inning, he's throwing 97, 98. You're thinking, okay, this might be playing in the Yankees' hands, and lo and behold, it didn't. So it's that deep Dodgers lineup. We always talk about the first 3, but Teoscar Hernandez, he won the home run derby this year.
Kike
Hernandez,
only good in the postseason.
Tommy Edmond, for crying out loud.
Hey, that's when it matters.
Ben's guy in the chat, Ben in the chat loves Tommy Edmond. And of course, Freeman hit a home run, so that's cool. That's not unexpected, but just kind of the offense beating out the pitching at this point for the Dodgers,
which is shocking because that's the thing that we were the least sold on,
Absolutely.
and you got 2 really good games. But with Rodon, 31 home runs. It's the second most in the major leagues this season. So
yeah. Solo homers don't get you beat.
Nope.
But 3 or 4 of them might.
Yeah.
So.
But I found an interesting stat. So it's 2-0. I mean, you guys said Yankees in 6, so they now need to win 4.
All they got to do is win 4 straight, Jeff. We got this.
I said 7. I've got a little more leeway. But 45 of the 56 teams holding a 2-0 lead go to win the series.
Yeah.
45 out of 56.
That's a high percentage.
It's a very high
Not
percentage.
great at math. But do you know the last time that the Dodgers had a 2-0 lead? Take a guess.
In the World Series?
Yeah. I like this tie.
I'm going to say, did they have a 2-0 lead in 81?
I'm going to go 81.
1988.
88.
When Mr. Gibby
Yeah, they swept.
the home
that was a
run.
sweep, right?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a sweep.
Well, it was the A's.
I don't remember.
I think it was 5. I think it was a 5-game series. But
It was a 5-game series.
yeah, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, you got the Freddie Freeman walk-off tie there. And the last time that they did this 2-0 lead was then. So maybe it's Gibby magic. I don't know.
We'll have to see. I think the Yankees still got something left. And obviously the Dodgers have a somewhat hobbled Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, subluxated or whatever they say, his shoulder. That's basically a partial separation of the left shoulder.
Yeah, I'm no doctor, but that seems like that's
a lot
for a guy who really needs his shoulders. But look, who knows? Again, I guess he had some strength tests right afterwards. Passed those. Yesterday, Dave Roberts was talking about, holy cow, this guy's he's going to be in there. But to what extent? And for the way he got hurt, you usually hear about it, collision or something. But with his arm hitting the dirt while he was sliding into the base on a steal attempt, maybe he won't be stealing the rest of the series.
Well, that's
I don't
the
know.
thing. He stole 59, however many bases he stole.
I'm just
this year.
wondering how does that affect a guy's swing? And
of course, Dave Roberts making the point. It's his back shoulder. For a left-handed hitter, that would be his back shoulder. Again, power comes out here for a lefty, but still,
I'm sure that left hand has a little something to do.
So this is official notes today. Dave Roberts said on Sunday, Ohtani will play Game 3. He will be reevaluated Monday after workouts Sunday night at Yankee Stadium.
But then I don't think he worked out.
I wouldn't think he did. Yeah,
no,
I would think. But these injuries always are worse the second day,
right?
Or not always, but frequently are, especially when it's something that's going to affect so many muscles in there. So I don't know. It's up to pain tolerance. Maybe Dr. Feelgood will be in there, give him a little juice and a little shot in the arm. But if he is not injured and is able to perform like normal, then great for the Dodgers. If not, then maybe it does change the series a little bit.
Yeah, and Robert said, look, we're gonna. That's the first batter Clark Schmidt's going to see, right? So he's pretty confident that Shohei is going to, and he acknowledged that it is a pain tolerance thing, and he's pretty confident that Shohei's going to fight through that pain, as so many guys do. We've talked about this a lot.
I mean, look at your teammate, Freddie Freeman.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And on the other side, look what Anthony Rizzo's
Anthony
doing
Rizzo,
with two
too.
broken fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and as you guys know, Yankee Stadium favors the left-handed hitter there,
Yeah.
and so for Ohtani to be in there with that little, I don't know, we'll call it a short porch, I guess.
Yeah.
The ball just flies out there. That's it's a big advantage for the Dodgers to have him in there. It'd be a big disadvantage to not have him in there just because of all that power he has.
I remember, I'm old enough to remember when the Yankees had a power hit of their own named Aaron Judge.
Oh,
I was going to say, we're
yeah,
talking about one MVP.
yeah.
Let's just talk about the other.
Wait,
It's like, do you want the
what the
bad
heck?
news or do you want the
Yeah.
worst news?
What
Take your pick.
happened?
I got a stat.
Give us stats.
I'm going to read it. Judge is 6 for 40 this postseason, including 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. That includes 1 for 9 with 6 strikeouts in the World Series. He's whiffed 14 of the 26 swings he's taken. That's 58%, fellas.
He's struck out 6 of the 9 outs he's made have been strikeouts.
in this series.
Wow.
in the World Series.
So 6 for 40 is a 150 average.
Wow.
That's not real good.
No. And he's hitting 199 for the whole postseason. So it's not just like, it's just that he got to the World Series and
Yeah,
You know.
right.
So he's, he had a pretty decent talk with the media because he feels this. And Aaron
Sure.
Judge is,
also
taking accountability.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's anybody that feels like the smallest man in the world, not to talk Taylor Swift joke, but like this monster of a man probably does because he's underperforming and there's no other way to put it. But, Judge said, this is 100% on me. If you're not going to get the pitch in the zone, you've just got to take your walks instead. But plain and simple, I've got to start swinging at strikes. I mean, he knows what he's not doing. One thing that I will say is every single teammate was so positive, even Aaron Boone, and they said, it's just going to take like one swing and he's going to click. He does kind of get out of the rhythms a little bit. The last time he was playing the Rangers, he was in this home run drought. And heck, I mean, it was like eight or 10 games, like something hilarious.
Yeah.
But he does get in these little droughts. It's just, is he going to click before the time runs out? Because realistically, there's just a few baseball games left of the season.
Potentially 2. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's got to get it done. But it's the first World Series game at Yankee Stadium since 5,473 days.
Jeez.
So the people that were born when the Yankees won back in 2009, they can almost drive. They're going to be getting their driver's license in the year ahead. So I also saw a cool tweet that just some fan was just encouraging Yankees fans to like support Aaron Judge. And they said that they want the stadium to be the loudest it's ever been, when they call his name. He's done so much for the fan base. He shows up all the time. He's one of the best. I mean, this regular season for Aaron Judge is probably his best season he's ever had. So the postseason struggles don't really make that much sense, but you're hoping that it clicks before time runs out.
I did not get your Taylor Swift reference. You'd be surprised. Ardell though got my Motley Crue reference when I said Dr. Feelgood, and Ardell. Just to let you know, Ardell, that's my wake up song on my phone. When my alarm goes off, it plays.
Is it really?
It plays Dr. Feelgood.
Nice.
Because it goes hard right from the start.
That's
does.
very jarring.
Anyway,
It'll wake you up.
You got to wake up. That's what it is.
I remember back in the day, me and my brother, like when we do family trips, he loved Screamo, and we'd split a room and split beds, obviously, and stuff. But he'd wake up to Screamo at like 5 a.m.
Oh gosh.
I'm like, no wonder you're not happy this morning. You literally woke up on the wrong side of the bed because you fell off the bed because your alarm scared you.
Screamo scared you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be close. Ask Molly about smallest man that ever lived, though. She'll be very happy to tell you about
Smallest man that ever lived. I'm
It's a
sure.
song.
Boy, that's some guy she's bitter about that broke up with her. There is no doubt about that.
Hey,
I
don't ask
feel
me,
for the
fellas.
bastard.
But I do feel for Aaron Judge.
How about the size of the heart and the determination? I loved seeing Jose Trevino up there, Jeff, and I love and still do that young man when he was here. Just a really good guy, and to see him get that opportunity. Bases are loaded in the 9th inning. of that game, and he's got a chance to give the Yankees the lead. Obviously, on the road, the Yankees can't walk it off, but that would have effectively been a walk-off. That would have been a huge home run, and I was so hoping. He got it. He got wood on the ball.
Yeah. You know, 2 years ago he won the Gold Glove.
Yeah,
he's dealt with some injuries, and Austin Wells is a better offensive player, I guess, behind the plate than Jose. But you know, Jose, he was an infielder at Oral Roberts, became a catcher, won like Gold Gloves in the minor leagues, and so the Rangers waited, and the bat never came around, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I think the Rangers would take him back right now.
Sure.
I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
So when you kind of, again, there's always a former Rangers tie into something else, and then to another club or a story like the Dave Anderson thing, and you root for Jose because he's a nice guy. He's just a nice guy. His heart's in the right place, and I was hoping he would have at least delivered a little something.
Yeah, even it hit. Get it tied, whatever you could do there. But anyway, that didn't happen, and so we move on, and we'll talk about tonight's game. It's Game 3. We'll get a little preview going, and some of the news and notes from around baseball as we go ahead and go batting cleanup after this on the DLLS Rangers podcast. So the big boss, Ben, is wearing the same shirt, one of the shirts that I've ordered.
Okay.
Which is the merch is so great, and it's a great one. There is a slightly different feel to certain of the materials, right,
Yeah.
Jeff? You've got the soft blue. I love that color down your Texas
the
chew. That's a great color. Great. I mean,
Texas
the background
chew.
color and the chew pops right off there, and that's a great shirt. There are so many great ones. The one that Boss Ben is wearing just has the outline of the state of Texas and then DLLS in the middle, and it's a sort of more of a navy blue with like green around. It's really cool, really good shirt. One of many that you can get at store.allcity.network, store.allcitynetwork.com, I should say. And it's just fantastic merchandise. And I got the notice today that my stuff is on the way, so it didn't take long at all. I'll let you know and get it when I get it, and I'll be wearing it. Yeah, so make sure you order some of that merchandise and wear it around proudly.
And you want to become a diehard because the Stars are heading to Finland.
Yes.
And if this would have been going for a little bit longer, I think we would have a few fellas taking a fun trip right now.
We would.
And guess what? You would be able to as well.
Yep. No doubt. That would be one of the goals, wouldn't it? Would be to involve our diehards in that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get 20% off of events. I mean, if you do the math right there. I mean, trip to Finland, I've never planned one, but I'd imagine it's more than a Whataburger at Globe Life Field. And those are pretty expensive, as we've discussed. But become a diehard. You get a free T-shirt every single year. You get great exclusive content. We are putting a lot of stuff behind the paywall, so some things you're going to be able to read, but others, just join the family. It's easy. Sign up today.
Yep, fantastic opportunity for you. We hope you will become a diehard and be our best friend.
Okay, Elijah, can we see the starting pitching for today? I learned something cool.
Oh, okay.
So Clark Schmidt, his dad, his name is Dwight. He's been a Delta Airlines pilot for more than 20 years. He was selected to fly one of the team charter flights to Los Angeles back to New York. So he got to fly his son to a World Series game.
That is pretty
awesome.
That is pretty awesome. Yeah,
this World Series has some pretty sweet stories.
Yeah, there's some neat subplots, and that's why we back cleanup here to get to some of those great stories. And there you saw that matchup. Look, Walker Buehler has not been really great all year. He's been, again, sometimes you have that recovery time from a Tommy John surgery, and it just takes longer than, yes, the elbow's healthy, right? It's structurally healthy, but you just can't quite find it. And I think Walker Buehler has pretty much struggled with that throughout the season.
Yes, but he does have experience in the World Series. So he's pitched twice. Games 3 in 2018 and 2020. Both of them ended up being wins. He has a sub-1 ERA in the World Series. let's see, 1 earned run and 13 innings pitched, and a 17-1 strikeout to walk
Jeez,
ratio.
okay. So
Walker Buehler walks a little bit differently in the World Series. So also he altered his pitch mix a little bit for the NLDS, and so he's cutting down like some usage, and he got 18 whiffs in his last outing, which is the most in his 18 starts this season.
Okay.
So Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
A little bit more than you thought.
You like him. I mean, maybe this is it. Maybe.
Well, I don't know if now that I know that about Clark's dad, maybe that feels it a little bit too. I don't know. Anything can happen, but yeah, I mean, Walker Buehler, I'll put some respect on his World Series name.
Yeah, I mean, he you know,
absolutely.
The issue is command with these guys, and it's not necessarily control. Walking guys a lot. It's just not throwing quality pitches. And Walker Buehler during the regular season gave up 89 hits in 75 innings. He had a 1.5 WHIP. Well, that's not Walker Buehler-esque. So as we get deeper into the postseason, again, these guys all have these super tight leashes, but you kind of look at what he's done in his 2 starts this postseason. He got rocked by the Padres, came back and pitched well against the Mets, but it was only 4 innings. So they're gonna keep a tight little leash on him. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, if he has swing and miss stuff, he's a guy who really his injury came at a bad time for him personally, and in terms of where he is in his career and contract stuff. But I think that Walker Buehler is. I don't know what you're going to get. I wouldn't have a lot of faith in him if I were a Dodgers fan, but if you go by what he did last time, all right, showed some improvement there.
There is a little something right to that. This is a different stage, right?
Yeah.
The lights are always bright, when you get to the big league level. But now take that light and shine it even brighter, and you're in New York. So that has a different aura about it. And if you have experience, as Walker does, on that stage in those bright lights, granted he wasn't in New York then, but I think that experience can absolutely pay. But can it overcome, I think there's probably still some physical and certainly mental issues with his recovery from the major surgery that he experienced.
Yeah, but as he gets further away from it, though, the confidence, the
trust
in the arm.
Yeah,
just go out and let it eat. And, get back to what made you so successful. And but yeah, this is a huge game.
I was about to say the
Yankees really need.
They do.
I want to say must win, but
not
it's
a must win.
one.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah. Not quite a must win. I know this. The Dodgers are sad to be out of LA because nobody loses in LA. At least not last weekend, Abs.
No. LA had an incredible stretch of 4 days starting Thursday to Sunday. The Kings won, the Rams won, the Dodgers won, the Lakers won, USC won, Dodgers won again, Lakers won, Clippers won, Kings won, Galaxy won, Chargers, Clippers. I mean, all of these things, they were undefeated for 4 days.
4 straight days. All of the LA teams.
All of the LA teams.
Including the college team.
Every single level.
Wait a minute. What about UCLA?
Were they off?
I don't know.
I don't remember seeing
it. I don't
them.
either. I don't remember seeing it.
I didn't see it, but USC won. I do know that. And man, I mean, all of the events also were taking place
like in a 5-mile radius,
miles from each other. Yeah. So I might should have prayed a little bit more for LA people with the traffic. I can't imagine.
Oof, unbelievable.
I guess that's why parking was 6,000.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody looked ahead and ran the numbers.
Yeah, unbelievable traffic. So that was a fun little nugget, though, that all of those LA teams won over the course of this weekend. Now, here's the big battle. It's a rap battle. Ice Cube, or Cube, as I call him. His buddies call him Cube.
Oh, okay.
And Fat Joe. Fat Joe's singing tonight.
Cube for sure. I mean, I really like Ice Cube. I'm a big Ice Cube guy. Honestly,
Dave Roberts enjoyed it as well.
I'm being 100% serious here. NWA was right during my high school years.
Yeah.
And then he kind of went off on his own. And pretty solid. And then he's a pretty good little
He's a
actor.
great
he's been in
actor.
some good movies.
And you know what? Because of my good friendship with Nancy Lieberman, who's a coach in the Big Three, I've had the opportunity to meet Cube.
Oh, nice.
That's why I call him Cube.
Oh,
we're
you
buds.
and Cube.
Yeah, we're buds. And introduce him to
You
my
got a
kids.
handshake?
I introduced him to my daughter anyway, and she grew up loving him and stuff. So it was a big deal, and he's a really nice guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ice
which is
Cube?
awesome. Yeah, Cube.
That's hilarious.
Cube.
Dave Roberts was loving it.
Yeah.
Did not have
Yeah.
that on my bingo card.
No.
He was singing along.
Mm-hmm.
And so was Alex Verdugo. He
was.
was feeling it as well. But Brad Paisley is a big baseball fan as well.
Okay.
I was watching the pregame show, Intentional Talk, and apparently he watches that show all the time.
Okay.
And this was like his dream come true to sing the national anthem. So
And that was game 1?
Yeah.
And then Cube was game 2?
Cube,
And now we got Fat
Cube
Joe.
was. I mean, Cube gave a performance.
He did.
Freddie Freeman was
Yeah.
hilariously trying to keep his composure. But I was just thinking about how much it's evolved and just like a mini concert in the outfield in the World Series. So
Yeah.
But
It's-
I have high expectations for Fat Joe.
Yeah, I would think so. I think he'll be good.
Who else was East Coast? I mean, Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, they could have
Jay-Z.
gotten. That was a
he got
bigger
knocked
name.
down. Yeah, he
Jay-Z.
got smoked. So
He's
Yeah.
already done it though.
Jay-Z, well, I mean, it's New York. His song,
New York.
New
New
what
York
was
State
it
of
called? Empire State of Mind. But
Empire.
still, he talks about. Pretty sure he talks about the Yankees in it.
Yeah.
Jay-Z loves to say that he turned down the Super Bowl though.
Who?
Jay-Z.
Oh, yeah.
He loves to be like, no, I turned down the Super Bowl.
Turned down the Super Bowl. You
Which is a
you don't
flex,
get paid for that.
Yeah, you pay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I don't blame him.
You pay to sing the song, to be
Oh,
the
heck
concert?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
oh, you pay lots.
Oh,
Yeah. It's advertising.
And I mean, not to get too far off on the football thing, but Kendrick Lamar is doing the NFL Super Bowl this year in New Orleans. That should have been Lil Wayne.
Oh,
I could go on
there you go.
I could go on a podcast on
There
that.
you go.
But anyway,
is Kendrick Lamar the one who has the beef with
Drake. my best friend
Drake's your best friend?
in my mind.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Well, and yeah, you know what? Go ahead.
I did look up something interesting though, because can you scroll up and see? I don't know who. I think it was BC put Shohei and Judge's stats, their batting average. So I wanted to look up because it was like we've talked about the last time that two MVPs met,
Yeah.
and it was Miggy and Buster Posey. And
Yep.
so I wanted to look up for fun what they did in the World Series. Miggy was batting .231, 3 hits, 1 home run, 3 RBI, and he scored a run in 4 games. Buster Posey, .267, 4 hits, a home run, 3 RBI, and a run scored in 4 games. So pretty identical. How do you compare 2012 to this year?
Look at BC's numbers. Assuming
Rough.
they're accurate, it's
Rough.
no comparison. And obviously, Shohei has been much more visible,
Yeah.
right, in the series than Judge. Literally, Aaron has disappeared. So Shohei has been more visible, but really, very little in the way of spectacular or even noteworthy from either one of these guys.
Those are big words.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, that they don't deserve them.
Oh, right, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
they just haven't done anything. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I wanted to take
do
a look
too.
at what previous MVPs had done. And I mean, this is also a time where the unlikely can step up and really be a hero too. But
Yeah.
to win the whole dang thing, your best guys got to be good.
Yeah, your best players have to be your best players. And right now, for the most part, the Dodgers' best players are outperforming the Yankees' best players. Now, Stanton hit a bomb.
Oh man.
That was a bomb. He knew it too.
Yeah.
And he hit it out there to left field where
I'd
he
be
told his
interested to
dad he'd hit one day. And
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever told his dad he'd hit one in the World Series.
I'd be
But-
interested to see all of his, like contracts of if you do this in the World Series, you get X. Because
clauses.
yeah, he's checking them off left and right.
Boy, there is no
Him
doubt
and Soto.
about that. No doubt. So,
Him and Soto.
yes, and
And we were going to talk about this too. Juan Soto, potential Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, this video on Twitter this
Are you
morning
rolling your
of him.
eyes?
I am.
That'd be a disgusting lineup.
Yeah, it's a little too much.
It's the rich getting richer.
Yeah,
No
it's a
doubt
little too
about
much.
that. No doubt about that. Although him being on the Yankees is the rich getting richer.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So,
True.
Really,
what's the difference there? But again, now I know there's so much money in Los Angeles and everything, but can you really afford another contract that's north of $500 million?
Well, I mean, just defer it all. I mean, I wonder if they've set the new standard, for these deals.
Sure.
Yeah, because when
the player has to agree to it.
I was going to say,
yes.
I don't think there's a lot of players that want that. I mean, smarter in the long run, but
it is, man.
I mean,
right now,
I don't see
people want their money.
I don't see Juan Soto doing any commercials, right? I mean, he doesn't have the
X factor.
Walking around money. Yeah.
All the endorsements and all that stuff coming in like Ohtani does.
Ohtani,
So
yeah.
I would think that Juan would want a little more upfront than $2 million a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know scouts who think that Soto's the best hitter in the game.
Yeah, on the planet.
And the fact that he's just now 26, he's getting 10 or 12 years. So what is that is that 480? If you pay him $40 million a year, that's $480 million. Somebody's going to go above that.
No doubt.
I would think.
No doubt. The number I keep hearing is $600 million.
I was about to say, I heard 600 too.
Keep hearing $600 million. So,
and I can justify that.
Well, yeah,
you can. You can justify it with him. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, based on the body of work already, right? Based on those, the upside, if you will, in that people think and say and scout him as one of the best hitters, if not the best hitter in the game.
Yeah, and it's not. He's 26. All right, so he's debuted when he was 19, but it's not like he has a ton of miles on him.
No,
because he walks so much.
Yeah, he's in great shape. You know,
I just think it's a different is he 26 or all right? He's played 7 years. Is that in baseball years? Is that 30?
Yeah,
I think he's 26.
Yeah,
fantastic. Game 3 of the World Series is tonight. And so, of course, we'll be talking about that tomorrow. We'll also have other Hot Rangers topics to discuss with you tomorrow as we bring you another edition of the DLLS Rangers Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.